The 7.9 magnitude quake struck at midday on Saturday the 25th of April, at a busy time of year for the tourism-reliant nation's trekking and climbing season, with an estimated 300,000 foreign tourists in the country.
The only time most people ever consider the country of Nepal is when talk turns to those seeking to conquer their one and only source of major tourist income, the mountains, in this case Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world. Only 40 more countries around the world have more population, and the people there in Nepal live simple, very simple lives, surrounded by the mountain gods, now believing those same gods are responsible for bringing unheard of death and destruction to their homes. Around 5,000 people are known dead from the earthquake which struck the country on Saturday. Officials fear that toll could more than double in the weeks to come. And in the middle of it all, those determined to help and save lives, one at a time. Our guest is founder of the Soarway Foundation, an organization dedicated to providing humanitarian relief to those affected by the disaster in Nepal. Welcome Michael Kobold to MidPoint. Mike, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I know you've seen the pictures, as we all have. Can we even grasp or get close to the enormity of the disaster that this is just by looking at the pictures?
Well, you can certainly get a glimpse, but you cannot get a full picture. And that's because Nepal is the most mountainous country in the world, and most of the areas affected can only be reached by helicopter. The problem with that is there are only 7 helicopters in the country that belong to the government of Nepal, and 20 private helicopters, which is not enough for the most mountainous country in the world. And we know for a fact that all of these villages that are out in the foothills of the Himalayas have been decimated by this earthquake, and the destruction there has been almost 80%, I'm told. Now, once we do reach those villages, we're going to find more dead people, and I think the number is going to more than triple.
We talk about Nepal, and I mentioned Mount Everest, and many times, at least for those of us who know it comes, we think of the Sherpas, we think of those who actually, they spend their lives climbing that mountain, and we know that there was a tragedy also at Mount Everest as well. And I know that you are connected in so many ways, but specifically because of the Sherpas themselves, you have a personal relationship there, correct?
That is correct. So I have climbed Mount Everest twice, to the summit in 2009 and 2010. The first expedition in 2009 is when I met my wife, Anita, who climbed Mount Everest also. We met on the way to base camp, became a couple, climbed it to the summit, came down and got married. We returned the next year to climb it again, reached the summit, and after reaching the summit, my wife died because she was coughing so hard that she coughed up the lining of her lungs. Her air pipe was swollen because she was coughing so much, and so she died from asphyxiation. She was pronounced dead by a medical doctor. I ran over to the other tent. This is at Camp 2, pretty high up on the mountain, to the other tent where my Sherpas were, Namgyal and Tundu, and I said, Anita's dying, do something. So they came back after she had been pronounced dead, assessed the situation, ran back to another tent, got a medic bag with syringes of adrenaline and steroids, administered those syringes, and after 5 minutes, brought her back to life. Now, after they did that, we said Namgyal and Tundu should never climb Mount Everest or any mountain again. The Sherpas only do it because of that, because it's a mountain that attracts a lot of tourists, quote unquote. They're not real mountaineers. I certainly am not a real mountaineer. And so we took them to America, taught them how to make watches. I'm a watchmaker. I own a small watch company in Pennsylvania. And after a year of training, sent them back to Kathmandu, where they ran their own watch company. That watch company is now destroyed, I understand, and Namgyal is found, but Tundu is still missing. And it's my understanding that he was actually near Mount Everest or even on the mountain itself, and we've lost him. At least we've lost contact.
Mike, I've only got about a minute or so left here because we think of these things, these tragedies around the world. Governments are sending money, and there's people who want to do something here. What can they do? Can they really make a difference?
Certainly. So we founded an organization called the Soarway Foundation 2 weeks ago with the purpose of raising money for Nepal in case there is an earthquake. We had been told by the U.S. Geological Survey that there would be an earthquake. We thought it would be in the next 5 to 10 years. Obviously, it happened much sooner, but that infrastructure is in place. And we will hopefully have a U.S. ambassador, retired U.S. ambassador, join the organization to lead it, to make sure that the funds are dispersed in the best possible way for Nepal. And that's what the Sorwe Foundation does.
These are people that really don't have a lot, and we're seeing pictures of the website here, and many of the older structures there have been destroyed. And I wanted to
Correct.
get your take on this because there is a Christian preacher who went out and put out a tweet where he said, praying for the lost souls in Nepal, praying not a single destroyed pagan temple will be rebuilt and the people will repent or receive Christ. That's despicable, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly an outgrowth of freedom of speech. I'm not going to comment on that. Obviously, I personally have my own feelings, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's his, so be it. But I have been there many times, 35 times in my life, and they were the most beautiful structures that I've ever seen. And I'm from Europe. I've been to all the cathedrals and domes, and I can assure you that the ones in Kathmandu that have been destroyed were rivals.
And really just from everybody that I've known that's actually been to Everest, that's been there, they say they're just beautiful people and they're just the nicest in the world. I got about 30 seconds left. People want to get a hold of the Soarway Foundation. How do they do it?
They go to www.Sorway, soar as in flying way, -foundation.org, and make a donation.
People, this is something that, quite frankly, I don't think you see the pictures and they just don't have a lot there. We've got 1.5 million people who need food assistance right away. We've got surrogate mothers, their babies being flown out right now. People trying to do everything they can. It's a good idea to help these people because
It's actually 8 million people. 8 million
8
people
million.
represents a third of the national populace of Nepal, and 8 million people are affected by this without clean water or food. In most cases, homes. Their homes have been destroyed. 50% destruction. Imagine, Nepal is the size of Pennsylvania.
we're all out of time, unfortunately,
All right,
Michael.
no
We
worries.
are going to send
Thank
them,
you.
though, to the website, and I want to thank you for bringing this to us. Good luck in finding your friends. MidPoint continues.